All right, thank you so much. You're still there. And of course, we're here on the show this morning on ITV. Yeah, the presidential election is something that for a very long time, perhaps between now and February next year, we'll keep on talking about it. We'll keep on preparing the electorate, ensuring that they know what to do so that they make a better choice. All right, so we've got 2023 presidency strained candidates and the prospects that lie in these candidates as they were. We understand that I don't like using major political parties. For me, all the parties are major. But for the sake of emphasis, we say the PDP, where we have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And of course, we say the APC, where we have the former Lagos State Governor Ahmed Tinubu. And we also saw the Labour Party, where we have the former Anambra State Governor, talking about Mr. Peter Obi. Now, yesterday we saw what happened in Lagos State, whereby they embattled Nyesom Wike of the PDP had to endorse Sanwo-Olu of the APC for a second tenure. Well, Nyesom Wike is not campaigning in this election. He's not a candidate in the election, but little wonder what he really intends to achieve. Some persons are saying that his political pedigree is at stake. And of course, some persons are asking the question that which party does he really belong to now? Is he still of the PDP or somehow is porting to the All Progressives Congress as the beliefs are? Well, to do justice to some of these issues today, we are so privileged to have Mr. Chris Ojekari. He's a senior special assistant to the governor of Edo State. So you're welcome to this program, Mr.
Good morning.
TV. And of course, we've got my big brother, lecturer friend, Dr. Logat Sado. He lectures with the Department of Sociology and Anthropology with University of Benin here in Edo State. So you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
And also to big brother friend Ayamehwe Dukbolo is a member of the Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress in Edo State here and perhaps in Nigeria. Mr. Ayamehwe, you're welcome to this show.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
All right. Now, Mr. Chris Ojekari, we saw Nyesom Wike. Let's take it off from there. The River State Governor endorsing the Lagos State Governor for a second tenure. Nyesom Wike is of the PDP, the Lagos State Governor is of the APC. What do you think, Nyesom Wike, what does he want to achieve? Which party does he belong to?
Well, there are some questions that it is the individual in question that can really answer properly. For instance, what does he want to achieve and why he had to do what he did are questions he alone might be positioned to answer. But everyone knows that Nyesom Wike is of the PDP. And so we also know, it's open secret, that he's been having a running battle with the PDP. What that battle is all about is indefinable to most of us. Because, as you said, he's not contesting for the presidency. Yeah. He is not representing the South-South political zone where he comes from. As you might notice that no PDP governor from the South-South is behind him. So is he priming himself to play the role of a spoiler against the presidential election of Atiku Abubakar of the PDP? Is he priming himself to be a spoiler to the PDP party in the 2023 general elections? I don't think that the role he's playing right now, endorsing an opposition, party's candidate publicly, it's any unifying role, is at the very least divisive. It's stirring up strife where there shouldn't be. If you are a mature leader of a political party and you have issues and dialogues are on, and it's very clear that in the past few weeks, Atiku Abubakar have made several moves dangling the carrot before him. In fact, the party had bent itself over to offer him very juicy, options for reconciliations. And party leaders have met him, POT members have met him. If he still goes ahead to do that, then I think he's in best position to explain to the world whether as a leader of a political party that he claims to have built, that action is infantile or if it's mature. I think he will be better positioned to answer that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Dr. Asado, we are looking at a major political issue here, major political situation where we have major political parties, the PDP, the Labour Party, and of course the APC. Now, for some persons, they begin to look at the candidates and the prospects. Good enough, we have a vice presidential candidate who has tested government. We also have 2 governors who have also tested government. But the onus lies on the electorate this time on how best to choose. From your own perspective, let's look at these candidates as they stand and the prospect that lies in them.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Evans, and good morning, viewers at home. I think that the 3 candidates of the 3 major political parties in this dispensation have a lot to sell to Nigerians. However, it is left for Nigerians to decide who their preferred candidate will be. In terms of prospect, I will look at it from 2 perspectives, the good sides and, in my opinion, the bad sides. Let's begin with the PDP, for example, the PDP and the presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. I think that the prospect is based on the fact that the party has been on ground, the party is experienced, the party has won presidential elections in the past, not once, not twice. And I think that they can build on that to galvanize their way through and mobilize support for their candidates. Then, of course, the candidate himself is an experienced candidate, being a former 2-time vice president, and of course, having been elected as governor, even though he did not assume that position. And then, of course, he has also been a presidential candidate, I think 2 or 3 different occasions. So he knows what is up, he knows what is expected, and I think that he knows what Nigerians want. However, the PDP is part of the ruling class that Nigerians are dissatisfied with. They have ruled this country for a longer period, and the average Nigerian think that those who have ruled from 1999 till date have not done us well and should actually give way for a new option to emerge. And so I think that that is the greatest undoing, especially in 2015 when the party was knocked off by the APC. Nigerians were tired, not because they wanted President Muhammadu Buhari, but they just wanted a change. And of course, the slogan the APC brought was the slogan of change. So Nigerians anticipated that when the APC comes in, they will be able to deal with the issues of security, revamp the economy, create jobs and others. However, fast forward to the APC 7 years plus in office, I think that the APC under President Muhammadu Buhari has really not done well compared to what they promised Nigerians. In fact, if you compare, in my opinion, the APC and the PDP, I think that the PDP did better in their years compared to what the APC presidency has offered. Now, let's take Governor Ahmed Tinubu as a person. I hear he did very well in Lagos. I mean, I have no problem about that, but he's coming under a platform that has dissatisfied Nigerians, where security issue has been destroyed to its barest minimum. Just before we started, we were talking backstage on the issues of security and insecurity in Nigeria. It has never been this bad. It has never been this bad as far as insecurity is concerned. The economy has nosedived. Inflation in Nigeria is second. When this government took over, you agree with me that Nigeria was the largest economy in Africa, and was one of the top 10 best economies in the world. But that's no longer the case. The economy has been bastardized. Let's take the comparison between the Naira and the dollar, for example. When this government took over, I think it was about 220. Some argue that it was even 180. As at today, as at yesterday, in the parallel market, it was 744 Naira to the dollar. 744 Naira. I mean, that shows you how bad the economy has fared. Coupled with the fact that, in my opinion, Nigerians want to breathe. And let me move away from the party and talk about the candidate.
Yeah, but we must always stick to the party.
No, I want to, the flag bearer of the candidate, he has a lot of pedigree coming into this election.
Okay.
He was an astute governor, an excellent governor in Lagos State. However, in recent times, Nigerians have begun to ask questions. And even if you go to his page, you go to Wikipedia and check what is written about him, there is this controversy about his age. And what is written is that by affidavit, he claimed to have been born in 1950 XYZ, and so he's 70 years. But Nigerians think that the man is far older than that. And then looking at his health status, I don't know what his health status is, but some Nigerians argue that, well, he doesn't look fit enough. You know, coupled with the fact that we have had a sick president in Yar'Adua who died in office, coupled with the fact that when Buhari took over, he literally spent most of his time until recently outside the country trying to take care of himself. So Nigerians are weary of having a president who may be an absentee president. Again, coupled with the fact that the APC went engaged the clamor of even the APC members to pick a Muslim ticket. That in itself is casting aspersion on, if you like, the nationality of the APC political party. What is the national atmosphere that the party creates, and such that it leaves a lot of people outside. Then finally, you come to the Labour Party, if you like, a party without structure. And that's the definition that is given to the Labour Party. And so the Labour Party has come as a third force. You know, on this platform, we spoke extensively about the emergence of a third force. And I'm excited that a third force has emerged. Not because the third force will provide answers to all the questions, but it gives Nigerians options to select from between the APC, the PDP, and now the third force. Don't forget the NNPP is also there, the Kwankwaso party, and several others. But now let's look at the Labour Party, for example. The Labour Party has never won presidency, has never, I think they at the point they just had a governor, but of course, who left and went to another political party. And then Obi was in the PDP, and then he cross-carpeted to Labour Party and got the ticket. Now, my take is this. Obi, as the former governor, the indices are there that the man did very well, although some people have cast aspersion on his person, on his integrity, and how much was he able to transform Anambra State into a developed state, compare Anambra to Lagos. So some argue that, of course, Tinubu did far better than him in terms of infrastructure and all the others. Okay. But Obi brings a lot to the table. And what does he bring to the table? He brings a fresh option. That's number one. Okay. A fresh option. Let me just hang up on that. Yeah. And then you look at the issue of the Labour Party, and then the emergence of the obedient movement. The obedient movement is not about Peter Obi. It's about a political movement in Nigeria, such that the youths, if you like, those who have been disenfranchised, those who have been left out of governance, are agitating for a new era. Okay. And that is what the Labour Party presents to Nigeria. Okay, let me pause you. And I am you are a member of the APC Presidential Council in Edo State, and of course in Nigeria at large. Now, your own candidates, former Lagos State Governor Ahmed Bola Tinubu, there's no doubt that he did well as two-time Lagos State Governor. But the issues that dangles on his presidency, if you ask me to describe, I almost cannot describe it. But what is the prospect? Because there's this worry and this fear, you know, about him by Nigerians. Don't you think that will cost him the election?
My point of departure is to appreciate our distinguished viewers at home, and to once again appreciate this platform for finding me worthy, you know, to comment, you know, on this very topical issue. I like to say that my co-discussant made some, you know, quite hyperbolical statements that needs to be cleared. There was never a time Nigeria was one of the top 10 economies in the world. But at a time we're one of the biggest. So I listened to him, unless you want to come to his defense. No. as far as I'm concerned, I'm aware you are the moderator. Yeah. And so you must allow us to interrogate ourselves as much as possible for the benefit of our listeners and viewers at home. Now, Nigeria was never one of the top 10 economies in the world. Yes, Nigeria was one of the biggest economy in Africa. That's given. And as I speak to you today, if you check the indices, Nigeria stands there. Nigeria is currently witnessing, you know, hypersonic inflation, if you want to be grammatical. Fine. But what are the costs? There's what we call root cause analysis. My brother is a doctor and an academician by all standards, an academy. And so I will expect that he should cast his mind to the root cause of the problem. There's a root cause to why United States of America right now is also witnessing a semi-hypersonic or hyperinflation. 3-4 days ago, there was a large protest in France, crippling Paris because of inflation. Trace it to the Russia-Ukraine war. How did it all begin?
Now,
excuse me, no. You see, Nigerians need to, Nigerians need to understand why things are where they are. If they don't know, they continue to be manipulable and they continue to be gullible. And it is this gullibility, that people like to exploit for the benefit of their political party. And I take serious exception to attempts to lobotomizing people. The facts must be squarely laid. Yes, the APC came on board, it promised a lot of things which have not been achieved. It's normal in every political sphere that you promise things, you try to do them, the ones you fail to do, you come and claim, apologize, and explain why you are unable. The ones you are able to achieve, sometimes you even exceed your own target in actualization, some you are unable to achieve. Now, looking at the presidential candidate called Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's a man that underpins or a repository of audacity and dexterity, as well as tenacity. This man is a man who embodies vision and visionary leadership. My co-discussant, the distinguished rep of the Labour Party, acknowledged his strides when he was governor of Lagos State. And this is what he is bringing to the table as far as this election is concerned. If you look at him, he is a man that is democratically born. Ahead of the primaries, for instance, he foresaw a candidate that was to be imposed, talking strictly of the Senate president. And he challenged that and said, let all of us go to the field. Let whoever admit. That's where the word emilokon came, which has been used now, by some persons to ridicule the party. The man wasn't talking to Nigerians saying, there is my turn to be president. He never said so. He was saying, I've supported this, I've supported that. It's my own time to be supported as far as our party is concerned. And he wasn't asking that he should be imposed. He was asking that the process should be fair to all. Let us go to the primaries rather than bringing a candidate to impose above all of us. And at the end of the primary, we saw that a proposed superimposed person came forth, and the vice president came third, and the minister for transport came second.
Okay. Now,
so in a nutshell, if you look at the candidates as we speak, he has talked about Atiku. I would not want to talk about Atiku. But if you look at the Labour Party candidate, for instance, he was governor for 8 years. He was impeached by his own party. And if you look at his trajectory, I always tell people, if you want to know a serious-minded governor, there are five basic stamps a serious governor will put in place. You will go to sleep that this governor means well for the transformation. I'm going to list them to you.
Okay.
Number one is a power plant. Nigeria is highly disadvantaged in power generation. And so a governor will sit for 8 years and not build a power plant. Obi didn't build a power plant. He didn't build a seaport. He didn't build a dry port. Okay? He didn't build a heavy-duty vehicle assembly plant. Okay? So if you look at all of this, then lastly, he didn't take a single 6 inches block into Onitsha main market for its transformation. Onitsha main market, if you Google today, is unarguably the largest market in West Africa. If I am governor of Anambra State today, I will tell you, I will, after payment of salary, even my own security votes, I will commit all of them to the transformation of Onitsha main market, because if that is transformed by giving them stable power plants, there are over 300,000 I better pass my neighbor generators inside Onitsha main market. So you can imagine the environmental pollution and the endangerment to the health of the marketers and traders in that place. Okay, if a man didn't do all of this, then the man says he will transform Nigeria to China within 3 weeks. I have a problem.
Let me pause you now. Chris Ojekere, you are a senior special assistant to the Edo State governor, and that's the PDP government. So obviously you're also a member of the Atiku Campaign Council. Now, we are looking at a situation whereby just like what IMA Kwedupolo talked about, he pinpointed some achievement that the Lagos State Governor, former Lagos State Governor had as, when he was in office. Then also, Dr. Lugard also talked about Peter Obi. Now, your own candidate was a vice president, and the greatest challenge that some political analysts, say he has is that he cannot really itemize one or two achievements that he did. And of course, you ask the questions, the excuse normally is that he was just only a vice president under a president. So what are you campaigning with, Chris Ojekere?
All right. First of all, when you say you ask the question and the excuse, it's not an excuse. It is the reality that the vice president under any government is actually under what we call delegated authority. And that is why whatever the vice president achieves under that government, the president takes credit for it. But having said that, I need for you to know that under Olusegun Obasanjo, as the vice president, according to our constitution, he was the head of the economic management team. Every economic achievement under Olusegun Obasanjo for which he makes claims today are articles. Now you have the GSM running today, which is the mode of communication. So you might refer to it as information technology, which lay there under Abacha for 8 years. It was the ingenuity of this man and persuasion with the president in power that you have such communication running today. The banking capitalization which Soludo did under that government are all ideas of the economic management team. I want you to understand that all economic policy of a particular government is under the economic management team. The privatization of assets, Nigerian assets today that are existing as of 16, was done under that economic team. Yeah. And then go and look at the staff list of the vice president when he was vice president. It is the most representative list of Nigerians of any vice president or president that have ruled this country. Go and look at the staff list. It is the representation of the federal character. What do we need today in Nigeria? We are looking for a man who is going to unify this polarized, tattered, alienated nation. So if you want to get a job done, you are looking at the credentials. What is the pedigree of all of that governors and vice presidents and presidents? Cronyism. What do you have in this current government? Nepotism. But look at Atiku's list. Now, look at the moves he has made so far after he became presidential candidate. He was the first to quickly run across the Niger to come and take a vice president who is not just of the southern extraction, but a Christian of the Christian extraction. And that has balanced the presidency. You already have a very strong working relationship between the vice president. I mean, it is obvious. It's the most united vice president and president today in Nigeria in terms of everything. Now, he kept saying, I'm going to get a vice president that will take over from me. So if we are talking of pedigrees, we call him unifier. His wife's name is Titi Abubakar. Titi Abubakar is from Yoruba land. If you look at his wives, the reason why he married so many wives, as he himself said, was that he's the only child. He was the only child of the parent. Yeah. And he said he felt very lonely as a child. Well, look at his wife. It's Nigeria unified. So if you take Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and so on and so forth, whatever you have to say about polygamy, you must agree that that man has a field from where he has studied Nigeria. Okay, yes, by way of interaction and socialization. All right. So when you say what is campaigning, we have so much to campaign with. All right, Dr.
Lugard Sado, the candidates and perhaps the party that you support, the Labour Party, just like what I wanted to react to what Ayamekwa had talked about, that the Onitsha market throughout the 8 years, throughout the period of Peter Obi as the Anambra State Governor, he never erected a block in Onitsha market. That was all he said. Then he also talked about some economic situations that he never lived up to, if I got him correctly. I want you to react to that.
No, I will try not to react to him. Rather, I'll tell Nigerians what I think they should know and what is not made known to them. Because the opposition will actually, if you like, lay emphasis on what is not. To say that he didn't lay a block on Onitsha market in itself is not correct. Is not correct. But I'm not going to react to that. Let me tell you the things that happened during Obi's time. Okay. He talked about the fact that the governor was impeached. Why was he impeached? That's the question you should ask yourself. To be impeached is not a problem, but he was brought back. He was impeached because he refused to play the games. Play the game that they play in Nigeria, the corruption game, the sharing the money formula. that has destroyed Nigeria today that these parties represent. He refused to play that game. A person who is described as Mr. Stingy, someone who doesn't share money, and he says the slogan is that Obi not they give shishi. It is true. In this era of heightened corruption, what you need in Nigeria is someone who will help us conserve and preserve our money. And he showed that dexterity. When he left office, he left billions of naira and dollars, left several things for the incoming governor for takeoff. How many will do that? How many have ever done that? In this era where inflation and, if you like, indebtedness has taken over the government, this government has borrowed over 31 trillion naira. And it's on record. I'm sure he will want to dispute that. The question then is, what has the government done with the money? When Obi became governor, Anambra was 20-something in the level of education. He transformed Anambra to #1. Anambra became #1 as far as education is concerned. And if you are talking about a system that can grow its citizens, a system that can build capacity, Obi stands for that. When you talk about building infrastructure, yes, Obi did not only build schools, hundreds of schools. He also gave schools back to missionaries and gave them grants, supported them with money to establish such schools, such that the school system in Anambra State, for which Edo is taken after, became standard. And is, under Obaseki, I must say that now, Obaseki has revamped Edo State education with the Edo Best policy. The APC government didn't do that. Rather, they were building red roofs that did not survive 2 years or 3 years after. The point we are making here is that we should not come and dwell on what does not exist. We should dwell on the things that build human capacity. And if there's anything that Nigerians need at the moment, it is something that can enhance their capacity. It is something that can enhance their ability to maximize the materials and the resources that they have around them. And Obi did that excellently. In terms of supporting the local business, infrastructure, building structures in Anambra State, he did that effectively. And the records are there. The records are there. But like I said, I'm just going to talk about the things that I think Nigerians need to know. You need someone who won't steal your money. Someone who, when he leaves office, he presents himself for auditing and is not afraid to be scrutinized. Not here. Not in this era where some people are not willing to make themselves available in the name of corruption. Again, you need someone who has integrity. Of every accusations against Obi, no one can say he took a kobo from Anambra Conference or whatever. You can only make assertions that the man is stingy or whatever, but he kept the people's money. We need someone with integrity. Nigeria has been destroyed to a point where leaders take us for granted. It is in this administration that billions of naira are missing in the name of snake, in the name of this, in the name of that. We hear it in this administration that fire burnt 4-point-something billion naira, that, Federal Ministry of Accounts is on fire, and 20-something billion is out of it. It is in this administration that those who steal money after a period are vindicated and are left to go, and they say that they have been discharged and acquitted. This administration promised that they were going to deal with corruption, but Nigerians know better now that if there's any term to use to describe the APC government, it's a term that describes corruption. Okay. And so I must say that what Nigerians need now is a Peter Obi, someone who will not steal your money. I am very happy about the revelation of the oil, the crude oil. And Obi said, and no government official has denied it, that the Nigerian government officials, our leaders, are the ones stealing our crude oil. And that no stranger, none of you, nobody, none of you seated here, including me, can go down to that place to steal oil. And then he analyzed it. What did we see? The next thing was that a vessel was set on fire. To cover evidences and others. The next thing was that people started casting aspersion, NNPC making promises. Nigerians are tired of promises. What we need now are facts that are factual, that are able to pull us out of the woods and help Nigerians to settle. And Obi presents that promise. Okay. The truth is that go and ask the average Nigerian, what is their hope in 2023? It is the emergence of the Obi option. Okay. Now, let me let our viewers out there know that this program this morning, you can actually be part of it. We are going to let you have our studio number so that you can call into the show, make 1 or 2 comments. Please just establish your own contribution. Don't try to judge any person here. I mean, we give them the opportunity for them to have their own opinion, just as we are giving you the opportunity to now. So 07083651 320. The number is going to be on your screen. 07083651
320. Now, Ayamekwe Dopolo, I still have you. Now, the issue here for your own candidates, Jagaban, they call him now, Emilio Kon, and so on and so forth. Now, we are looking at a candidate that his political influence in this APC government that is still running, right from 2015 when the APC government took off, his political influence was very high, so to say now. How is it now possible for us to begin to exonerate him from a government that a lot of people seems not to be satisfied with? When you and I know that Ahmed Bola Tinubu, he has been a national leader of the APC. So how do we put all that together?
I appreciate you. Now, to help you put all that together, I hope you listen quite attentively to distinguished Chris Ojekere when he analyzed the position of the vice president. And so if a vice president is somebody who does everything on behalf of the president, okay, and he cannot be held accountable because the president embodies everything. What do you talk of a mere
we are looking at a national leader.
No, hold on. When you use descriptive words, it sounds as though in terms of actions. If a vice president cannot, for instance, insist that the direction of government should go this way against the wish of the president, now do you expect a national leader of a party, political party, so to speak, to be the one now to bend the hand of the president? That is just by the way. I'm going somewhere.
When we talk about politics, the candidates, the president, so to say, are just individuals. But the political parties are at stake here.
You are not talking of the national chairman of the party. You are only using an aphorism to represent a man who is given a status of a national leader as a title. In terms of the day-to-day running of the party, is under the national chairman of the party. He has his national working committee.
Are you trying to tell
it's
us?
It's not an exoneration of the fact.
Are you trying to tell us that the national leaders in the APC never had any influence?
No, that is not to say. But it is not as exaggerated as you are putting it. They have a role. Now, at the same time, Nigerians are aware that immediately the presidency was inaugurated in 2015. The same as Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sidelined from the scheme of things of government and party, and provoked the distinguished wife of the president to cry out to Nigerians by saying that the government of my husband has been hijacked because the people that fought to bring this presidency in place are no longer the people I am seeing around my husband. That is an exoneration. Or that is the factual representation of what transpired. That is just by the way. Now, looking at the health status, as you raised the first question a while ago, I must tell you, unless anyone has a scientifically proof or waterproof, health reports to the contrary, I stand to be corrected. Presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is hale, hardy, astute.
Are you the doctor?
No. I am saying I stand to be corrected. I use words that I can defend anywhere in the world. So if you come with a medical report, verifiable, that's the only thing that can disprove my assertion right now. The man is hale and hardy, agile, to the extent that he was on a gym. They now changed the gym to an ice cream seller. We saw all manners of photoshops. Excuse me, my distinguished moderator, please. You must know that Nigeria is bedeviled with very devious propaganda. A country where people just sat down in one small room, cook a story that the president has been cloned into one Jubri from Sudan. You all of us heard it in this place, unless some of us want to deny. Now, the same Buhari went to Imbo the other day. I was following a friend on Facebook who kept on saying that this is not Buhari, this is Jubri from Sudan. The same fellow now, ignorantly, not knowing that some of us have been following him, wrote that, look the way Buhari does, they do gadi, as if he's the owner of Imo State. The same man that has been telling us that this man is no longer Buhari, but Jubri from Sudan. You see, so much lies. Now, if you look at the achievements of this presidency, my brother, it's unprecedented. We used to have PIB. Today is PIA. It started from the end point of Obasanjo's administration. They couldn't pass it into law. Yar'Adua came. They couldn't pass it into law. Jonathan, distinguished Jonathan from the South, who the side that produced the oil, couldn't pass PIB into law. It took a Buhari presidency to pass it into law. And as I speak, it led to the unbundling of NNPC. You know, an organization that used to maintain a Father Christmas status has now been transformed to an organization that is going to be working earnestly for profit making, for the purpose of accountability, transparency, providing jobs for Nigerians, and ensuring that every kobo spent is judiciously and
now,
accounted for.
before I start picking the calls now, I just wanted to give us 1 minute the nepotic disposition of this government.
You see, there are
seems
there.
to be one thing that people
I agree with that. You see, presidencies are different, and sometimes presidencies are perceived to be nepotistic. You see, the fact that Muslims bear names, you know, if you call some names now in the presidency, some persons are likely to say they are all from Buhari's area. Look at their names. But you may be surprised that some of them are Ishan people.
Even when we know the state of their origin.
I will tell you. You see, when you know their state of origin is different. But if you look at them nomenclaturally by their names, you are likely to have a misinformed conclusion.
Okay.
Now, and so to avoid that, we must be clinical in our interrogation.
Now, 07083651320 is the number. So you tell us your name and where you're calling from. Yes, hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
This is Gordon calling from Obai.
Okay, so 2023 presidency estraying the candidates and their prospects.
Okay, now, I've listened to all everyone who's talking over there, and I want to really say that there's only one true time Nigeria has gotten it right, and this is through the emergency of Peter Obi. This is the only candidate that we have in Nigeria right now for the issue of Nigeria that has no blame, or anybody could come and indict him and say, oh, Obi stole this, Obi stole that, Obi did this. It was this same government of the APC that we saw somebody taking a bullion van into his compound on a day of election in this same country that we are. And this same person is coming to contest in this same election in 2023. There are so many things. All of the other candidates who are coming out in terms of the PDP, in terms of the APC, they all have a bad track record. What Nigeria needs is someone who will salvage us out of the problem we found ourselves after independence.
Okay. All right, so 07083651320 is still the number. One more call, then we'll come to Chris Ojekere. Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so your name and where you calling from?
Mr. Zebigi, David Zebigi from Upper Sakomba.
Okay.
I want to sympathize with Ayamekwe.
No, you don't have to
do
that. Make your contributions. Don't try to jump.
I want to make my contribution.
So what are your
we are all part of the program.
Yeah.
He's overlaboring himself, trying to send a bad product to Nigeria. We don't want that.
Now, I'll give you one more try. Just make your contributions. Okay. All right, so now, Chris Ojekere, we still have you here. Atiku Abubakar is your own candidate. The campaigns are ongoing. Yesterday, we heard that INEC is warning political parties that the campaigns seems to be assuming, another dimension that they don't expect. Some PDP members were attacked in Kaduna State, though APC members have come out to say that they are not involved at all. But let's look at your own campaign organization. A campaign organization that some people say a part of it, a large chunk of PDP campaign organization is left out, making reference to the Wike, factor and all that. So to what extent can you guys go?
Now, the mistake we have always made, which I don't want us to keep making, is to personalize ideas in humans. Wike is an individual that has only one ballot, and he has his choice to make, and he's making it. And I must say, if I must say it, that he's making it very poorly, because it's simple equity, that if you no longer believe in the cause, you make it public, and you show us where you belong. When you begin to play the kind of game that he's playing now, you make yourself irrelevant in the long run. You may think that you are a champion now because lookers on and hangers on are clapping for you, but sane men are watching you and watching your activities. Now, PDP is going to go far because PDP hasn't got any competition. And the reason why they haven't got any competition, no thanks to the present government, is that when the push comes to shove, PDP will just roll out its achievements and ask you to beat the records. We begin to show you how we left dollar at 196 and now you have taken it to almost 1,000 naira to $1. We show you that you have 46.84% borrowed foreign debt. 42.84% foreign debt. Local domestic debt is about 5.24. We show you that you have taken rice that the common man eats from a bag of about 18,000 now to a bag of about 50,000. We show you that all the Paris Club debts that we paid back, you have gone to reborrow them. We show you how Edo, Kogi, Abuja Road, and how it's impossible. We show you the widows that, headsmen with AK-47, not a single one has been arrested, not a single one is standing trial. All the widows of the husbands they killed in the forest. And how you didn't have that under the PDP government. So we show you our pedigrees and we ask you to beat it. And that's why we're not making noise. Now we have somebody who was sitting on top of this government that achieved all of this. As the vice president, how we united the country. How we imported the country, we brought in Soludo, we brought in Erufa, we brought in experts that run the economy of this country with first-class intelligence. We show all of that to you. That's PDP government. We show you the most organized party that has internal mechanism for settling his matter. Some parties like...
how come you're not settling this issue now?
Yeah, because if it becomes that big, I mean, how do we have nations of the world becoming different nations? When it becomes so big, some children will go settle in a place, and then we have what we call spatial distance. And then you begin to speak another language. We say we are Edo, you speak Benin, you speak Ishan, you speak Auchi. You cannot have the Benin kingdom forever. So it is natural that when some people feel very big or too big to be in the clan, they have the leeway to go. Okay, so that's what is happening. So that will continue to happen. Now we can afford to shed them. Because PDP is represented in every unit in this country. It is the only political party that beats its chest on that. Even when PDP is in opposition, the party ruling will tell you that PDP is represented in every unit. So we can defend our results. Okay. So the point, yes, let me go on. Yeah. The PDP president was the first president in the history of Nigeria that saw that he has lost an election and called the incumbent today and said, please, congratulations, you have won the election, take on. Now, if you have a megalomaniac president, would he do that? So the point we are making is that we have our pedigree. As much as people would like to malign us, our presidential candidate, for instance, they've taken him to court several times. There is no corruption case officially published anywhere against him, apart from the testimony of a vindictive president who had issues with him. And people are quoting from his book. Not the testimony of one man, who we can have for every single accusation, we can have 6 or 7 to match him up. Okay. So what you have there is a unifier of Nigeria, a candidate that has wives in all of the tribes in Nigeria, yes, and understands where Nigeria is going. And that is why in Kaduna, you will remember that it was when he was in Kaduna that attack came. Now, people thought they could disrupt it so that he won't have to address Nigeria. He's the first presidential candidate that came out with a 5-point agenda. I don't know if others have come out, but he was the first that came out. The governor, those the governors, sorry, the APC, your candidate at the time now, Sagezi also had that. So it's not the first time we're having 5. No, I'm telling you that in this current election, is it contesting that? We're talking of nationally. All right, now, Dr. look at now, there is no doubt that the Obi movement it's somewhat a phenomenon, a revolution. That's what people call it now. But the greatest challenge is how this revolution can be transformed into concrete votes, because that's what matters. It is not the things that happens before the election. We are looking at what happens on election day. Dr. Sado.
Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Let me take us a little bit back into memory lane. The former chairman of the APC, Comrade Adams Oshombele, on one of your sister stations, did say that the Obi movement, what you see are just like 4 or 5 persons behind a laptop or a computer posting different things, and it's going around. And so, in his opinion, the obedient movement was not more than 5 youths, 5 young people. And he wasn't the only one who made such assertion. Several other persons, other political warlords in APC and PDP did say that the obedient movement had no structure, that they had no people, they had nothing to support them. But they are no longer saying that now, because at the moment, the obedient movement is the only movement in the history of Nigeria who conducted rallies simultaneously across different cities, towns, and states in the nation, and you got millions of people were represented, not the crowd that they buy, like the type we saw in Akwa Ibom, for example, where students, secondary school students and others wore uniform to attend. Needless to say, the one you saw in Lagos, that they were forcing people and charging them 5,000 naira for not coming out, and so compelling people. The movement, the obedient movement, is a voluntary movement of dissatisfied Nigerians. The interesting thing I must say here is that even those who belong to the APC and PDP privately are supporting the obedient movement, and they will give their vote to the obedient movement. I need to say this very clear and loud, that when they were arguing that we had no structure, individuals began to volunteer their properties, such that now we have ward secretariat, state secretariat, and local government secretariat scattered everywhere in the 774 local government that we have in Nigeria, such that the issue of structure is no longer what is in vogue. The issue now is, what will their vote translate into? I tell you one. The answer is very simple. The vote in Nigeria in support of Governor Peter Obi will be unprecedented. It will be such that it will shock the very fabric. That is why now you will notice that what the APC and the PDP are doing currently is to attack Governor Peter Obi and the obedient movement. They are no longer addressing their issues. They are now referring to Obi. So it has become the center of activity. Needless to say, for example, that my friend and senior brother here talked about Vice President Atiku Abubakar being a detribalized Nigeria, but I beg to differ. Only recently we saw Atiku Abubakar addressing Arewa Forum and telling them that he is from a northern extraction, and that what they deserve is that they should vote for someone from the north, and that's the only person who will defend their interests. That is the height of tribalism. That is ethnocentrism at its peak. And we do not need a leader like that. The candidate of the APC did that too when he spoke Yoruba to his Yoruba people when they met somewhere in western Nigeria, and he told them that it is their turn and that they should vote for their own son. It is only Governor Peter Obi who told the Igbos, don't vote for me because I am from Igbo. Don't vote for me because I'm from your. Vote for me because I have what it takes to transform Nigeria. So what we need now, I must say this as I round up, is that we need a candidate, we need a president in Nigeria who is not only verbalizing his detribalization, rather is acting it out by the way and manner he's making selections. I just tell you this as I close. When he constituted his council and brought about the emergence of Major General Neche, the obedient movement, because I keep telling you that, look, the obedient movement is not about Peter Obi, it's about a new Nigeria. Such that even if Obi is phased out, the obedient movement will remain.
Okay, let me pause you. I know that Ayame Wedopolo is itching to say something. We'll take one or two calls, and then I'll give you a opportunity. Yes, hello?
I need to respond to an
Hello?
accusation.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. It's me, Pastor Efe from Benin.
All right, so please speak on.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
It's Pastor Efe.
Yeah, we are live with you. Just go on.
Okay, I want to appreciate all the analysis there. I want to say, okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Just make your point so that others will call. Yeah, 07083651320. Yes, hello, good morning. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. Just make your point quickly.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Kingsley, calling from Mazota.
You have 30 seconds, quickly.
Okay, sir. Now, there is no two way of going back. We heard all what it is. We must vote for Obi. We must vote for Obi. Nobody will stop us. We are tired about this propaganda of telling us you're going to gym or to Atiku Abubakar. We are not going back of it. We must vote for Obi.
All right, that's your opinion. We'll take one more call. Yeah. Yes, hello there. 07083651320. Yes, hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, quickly.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
All right. Now, Ayamekwe, you need to react to...
First of all, I like to say that I take exception to criminalization. And my distinguished Dr. Lugard.
No,
I'm going to situate the point.
Yeah.
You see, when you as a moderator do not allow people to exhaust,
but I don't
we're attacking the issues. He has raised an issue.
Yeah.
We should be attacked.
Yeah.
And distinguished Chris Ojekere is also itching to respond. And you are saying people should not respond. Then you forecloses the opportunity to interrogate issues. We cross-pollinate and to cross-interrogate ourselves as much as possible and as civil as possible.
Yeah.
I like to differ and express my reservation strongly to his criminalization of crowds or of APC or other parties' rallies.
I beg your pardon.
He said
it was not criminalized.
No, you said people are paid to attend APC rallies and other rallies
and
that in the
PDP,
and in the Labour Party rally, people volunteer. What justification do you have to say people are paid to attend rallies? Do you have the evidences? When we come on air like this, we must be as civil as possible. Okay? If it's a hearsay, you cannot substantiate it. Don't come here to say it. Now, people volunteer to grace people's rallies, including that of your Labour Party. They volunteer. The same thing with PDP. The same thing with my own APC. So you don't say people are paid when you don't have the evidence. Now, to make it clearly, I'd like to let you know that the candidate of APC is a fundamental unifier. Now, Lagos State is the only state with a legacy structure of local government administration. Local government administration no longer exists in a strict and encyclopedic sense anymore in Edo State as we speak, but it exists in Lagos State. Now, these are facts that are verifiable. Now, he's coming with that democratic spirit to make sure that the three tiers of government, Lagos State and federal, function properly.
Careful when we say Lagos local government administration is not in Edo State.
Yes.
Is that what you
that's what I said. When you say local government administration, what you have right now is not local government administration as defined by United Nations Education and Scientific.
But we have a local government.
You have local government administration.
So what is the difference between local government and local government administration?
As defined by UNESCO, local government representative must be elected. Once they are not elected, what you have is local administration and not local government. What is in Edo State and any state not having elected officials is called local administration. What you have in other states where they are elected is called local government. This is what is causing
administration officials.
Yes, they are called. I'm talking of strict encyclopedic meaning.
I understand what you are saying.
Okay, now that is why, for instance, because their functions have been, obliterated and hijacked and all that. That's why, for instance, you go to all parts of the city, they are all dirty. Because the basic function of local government is sanitation.
Okay.
But let me round up. Let me round up by saying that the unification disposition of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is second to none. Okay, he's coming with that sense. His wife is a senior pastor of the Redeemed, and a man who did not Islamize his wife of almost 40 years marriage. Is that the man that wants to Islamize anybody? And so that gives you the tolerance level. A Muslim cohabiting with a Christian. Where the wife will now be calling sectional meetings and evangelical session in the house of a Muslim. Okay. And they're living together.
Thank you. Now, Chris Ojekere,
very quickly,
there is no local government administration in Edo State. That's what he said.
I said so.
Well, he said that the streets of Benin are dirty.
Well,
I want you to respond.
that would be a topic that will take another section. But just to say that Adokbolo Ayamekwe had equated local government administration with elected council chairmen and councillors. He had forgotten the bureaucracy. As far as you have a bureaucracy in place, you have a government in place. Okay. That's the operational arm. So we have local government in Edo State. Now, my young man, Dr. Lugard, referred to the school kids we brought in Akwa Ibom to witness. We talk about catch them young. And we brought school kids to begin to witness so that they begin to learn from the process. Because we are going to have a civilized government that is all-inclusive. And that's why we brought them to come and work.
like that.
Now, that's one. Number two, he said, Labour Party and APC are always attacking him. He has not given me an evidence where I have attacked him since we've been here.
Okay.
No, attacking not him.
I have never attacked the Obi movement. And this is the reason. The Obi movement is the political arm of the NSAS movement. When the NSAS movement started, I told them the greatest fault they had was that they had no organization and leadership. And they prided, hold on. Yes, I know. That's it's as he said, and nobody argues that it's an overflow of spleen and venting of opinion, venting of emotions. And we are saying that venting of emotions does not translate to organization.
It doesn't.
You organize to take over power. So you don't pride yourself in saying you don't have structure. That's my problem with your big movement. You don't pride yourself to say you don't have people in the unity who will defend your votes. You must have people. You organize. So it's not it's a movement. I've told me, I have friends there.
All right, so
it's a movement,
just
but it
30
is not.
seconds now. Look at
but it's a movement. We are hoping that after the election, when Obi is out of the scene, that the movement will translate into a political party that will organize it to win the election.
Okay, thank you.
So we have no problem with the movement.
Okay.
Now hold on. Let me finish. Yes. But to say that article is sectional, I have to address that. Now please read what article said. When we have a global village, everybody must have his homestead. You must have your homestead in the global village. And then he said, I'm a pan-Nigerian, though I'm a northerner by extraction. That's what he said there.
Okay, thank you very much, my friend. And I like the whole outburst is the fact that the Obi has brought something to the table. And what he has brought to the table is that in Nigerian politics, it is no longer business as usual. And what is very sure is that listening to all Nigerians, young, old, male and female, they are gravitating towards Peter Obi. To say that we don't have structure was their greatest undoing. Okay. What the obedient movement presents is much more than what structure can afford. And the 2023 election in February will show to Nigerians that it is Obi that will go to Aso Rock come May 2029. Okay. And Nigerians, vote wisely and defend your votes.
All right, I want to say a very big thank you to Chris Ujekere, Senior Special Assistant to the Edo State Governor. And please extend that handshake. And let's
all right, of course.
Labour Party man, stretch it to the APC. Yes, Dr. Lucas Sado. It's a lecturer with Department of Anthropology and Sociology, University of Benin. And he has, support for the Obi movement. Why Ayame Dokpolo, a member of the Presidential Campaign Council in Edo State, and of course at the national level of the All Progressives Congress. A very big thank you, gentlemen, for finding time to come on the show. Now, we wish to emphasize here that we do not have a candidate. Independent radio and television does not have a candidate. We don't even have a preferred campaigns and all that. We don't have our own campaigns. Now, we give the opportunity to members of the public, members of the political parties to come so that they can ventilate, their mindset and all that. So all that these guests have said today is not our opinion, is entirely theirs. I hope we agreed with all that.
Yeah,
that is your opinion. All right, so until tomorrow, the program is going to return.